Back in the day when we started off, the whole idea was to provide great consumer service. And till date, that's how Crew Love was born, to give people a lot of love, because it's not only a product they are buying, it's much more than that. It is a piece of history, it is a piece of art. For some people it is just a pleasure of owning it, for some people it's an investment. And it has a lot of role it plays in people's lives.
About my numbers, man. Give me all the chips, cause I always got the upper hand.
Anchit, thank you so much. Oh my god, now you're this big guy. No more my childhood friend, huh?
Yeah, you know it, like following your footsteps, I would say. Like, I had to achieve something. Looking at your hustle, it was truly inspiring. How you followed your passion.
Thank you.
And not only you, we've got so many friends in common. You know, so many of these people have done amazing things.
What was your mindset like when you were growing up? And that time, what did you think you're going to do?
When we were growing up, back in those days, there were only those primitive standard jobs and businesses which one could do. And now in today's age, like poker is a profession, selling sneakers is a profession, aggregating fashion designers is a profession. For that matter, I would even say creating content is the biggest game these days. We could have never imagined that back in the days.
But we used to hang out online so much.
The MSN Messenger.
Yeah,
Yes. We are from that age group, right? We've been on Yahoo, we've been on ICQ.
So I used to meet a lot of VV people from there, modern school, Barakhamba.
Yeah, and then for us back, like Delhi people especially, networking was through tuition centers.
100%.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to change the era I've grown up in, because you have a lot of things that you can go back to and introspect, because we've seen both the phases, right? We've seen the phase when we used to call each other through landlines.
Yes.
Right?
Blank calls.
Troubling each other. Or if you remember clearly, since we didn't have any cell phones, all of our numbers by heart.
What were you doing before COVID?
Running restaurants and just trying to develop more restaurants, more recipes, more cocktail ideas, and how we can keep people happy at a venue. And
you're a people's person.
Always.
And I'm sure when you were running your restaurants, what was your key role?
My personal passion in a restaurant would be in making sure the guest is happily fed and getting great cocktails. That's what my go-to.
Basically, you like to give people an experience.
Exactly.
And then in COVID, what happened?
Prior to COVID, we started this pilot project where my two co-founders, Shaurya and Bharat, they came up to me and they said, we're opening something and they'll be selling sneakers. And all I knew back then was, yes, I always knew about Jordans. I had one Jordan prior to that, and that was also gifted by someone a few years prior. It was just a piece I had in my wardrobe.
And Anchit, these Jordans were basically designed by Michael Jordan and Nike. What is the...
Yeah, not designed. Yeah, you can say
they were made for him.
Yes, they made for him, and it was a brand collab, Michael Jordan and Nike. And Michael Jordan has been, I think, one of the most celebrated and the greatest sports person out there. And now in the day, Air Jordan 1 was designed for a basketball game, but there are way advanced basketball shoes now available in the market by Nike with other basketball players. Not Jordans, obviously, but Jordan has become a lifestyle. I'll give you a small example, not about everyone, but one of my personal favorite brands here on our platform. This is exclusively with us. The brand's called Odd Mood. The t-shirt says "Still Unbothered" since 22 to 23. And it doesn't need to say much, It is just bringing out your expression. And the artist behind the brand is also a DJ, is also a restaurateur. And after being a DJ and then a restaurateur, this guy decided that he wants to open a clothing line. And obviously he's a very dear friend also. And irrespective of that, we were there for him, and we had to do it with CDC. And that's how we planned his launch. And he's there on the main circle at the store. And I would say he's the top selling brand on the platform. We have a lot of designers, but this guy is not a designer. This guy has not been to any design school. Personally, he knows what will be the best fit. He knows what will be the best fabric. And he knows what is the most minimalistic thing you can put on a t-shirt and make it look the coolest.
What's his name?
The artist name? That needs to be a secret.
Okay, so he just inspired me to launch my own clothing collection.
Okay, you know the guy?
No, I'm saying he just inspired
Okay, just
me.
inspired you. Okay, lovely,
Like, 'cause
lovely.
if I don't have to go to a school and
You
I
don't need
just
to go to a school.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So the theory is if you can create something and use it yourself, why won't others use it?
So cool. So now these two friends of yours call you and they're like, "We are starting something." Did you?
Now my life has become that, okay, someone is a friend and they want to open a brand, yes, we are there for them.
Yeah.
Someone is a brand owner and they want to start selling with us, we become friends with them. Simple. And that's what our tagline is. Everything going in and out of CDC for the vendors, for the team, for primarily, obviously, the consumers, is known as Crew Love. That's what our tagline is, that's what our trademark is, and that's what our mantra is by which we live by, and we do pretty much everything in the company.
Wow, this is very inspiring. I love these kind of meaningful startups, you know, not just driven by money, but motivation and spirit like yours. It's very inspiring. You know, a lot of our friends call us and tell us and discuss, bounce ideas back and forth. What was so special about this idea that you jumped right in?
When I said, they both came to me and they said they're starting the sneaker business. They obviously knew the trade. And I personally didn't have faith in them. Imagine the time we've grown up in, someone coming and telling you that, hey, we'll buy the shoe for, 22K.
Like this shoe.
No, okay, baby, we'll buy the shoe for 15K or 17K, right? And then we'll sell it for 25 or 30. I said, okay, I get it, you can buy it for, 15, 16 or maybe whatever. You can even, can't you buy it for 12? We're like, no, you can't buy it for 12. I'm like, okay, let's keep it that way. You buy it for 16. Our people, why would someone pay extra for a shoe? It's just a shoe.
Yeah.
It's like, you have no idea. I'm sending you an article, go read about it. That one article led to another, led to more. Read about the whole industry. It took me almost around 8 to 10 days to understand what this whole industry is all about.
So these shoes appreciate in value?
Yeah, because they are designed and they are produced in a way that they come in limited quantities. When they're sold at retailers, if you're standing in a queue for maybe 10 hours also, you will get one pair in your size. You can't even go and buy a pair for your sister or your brother, or someone in the family. If you want to buy a pair for your husband and your brother, you'll have to take them as well and stand in the queue.
I've heard they camp for nights.
Yeah. So I think the biggest camp out which happened in India was the 85 reverse bred Jordan 1, which happened in, I think, 20 Feb or 2019. I don't know. 20 Feb maybe. Just before COVID, it happened, and it was a reverse bred Air Jordan 1 1985 limited edition pair release. I think the pair only has 27,000 pairs or something, very limited.
Wow.
And all the pairs are numbered. And they had some 35 odd pairs dropping, and
where
a
do
bunch
they put
of
the number?
100 dudes camped out. So people had wearing hoodies and taking their cams and taking their bean bags and their blankets and toothbrushes and whatnot. Everything was there. So I have friends who maybe, I would say drive a car north of 1 crore, right? Maybe some AMG or some shit like that. And these dudes are camping out. I'm like, what's wrong with you? You can buy it on retail. I don't want to. I want to buy it for 15. Because the moment the shoe came out and the people who sold the shoe were selling the shoe for north of 50K. So that's how. The industry is pretty inclusive. That's what I learned. It is not only for the rich. It is for all segments. It is for everybody. Because if there is a guy who's ready to pay $2,000 or maybe 1,50,000 rupees for a pair of shoe, which was released at 15K. So primarily the person making the most amount of money on that is the guy who got it for 15K, who hustled it. So there's a lot of hustle involved, and that hustle gives a lot of people outcomes. So that kind of broke the code for me that, okay, all you need is great strategy and a lot of hustle.
So when your friends came up to you and you did your own research, did you see a lot of these accounts on Instagram that were already doing this?
Back then, when we started off, the first problem we were solving was, let's try and buy sneakers for ourselves. If there is a good service provider already, then we need to plan our actions accordingly. And we saw a lot of shortcomings in the existing players. And
Like what?
back in the day when we started off, the whole idea was to provide great consumer service. And till date, that's how Crew Love was born, to give people a lot of love, because it's not only a product they are buying, it's much more than that. It is a piece of history, it is a piece of art. For some people, it is just a pleasure of owning it. For some people, it's an investment. And it has a lot of role it plays in people's lives.
It's for
it's
some.
just not a shoe.
Yes, it's for some people. It's their birthday. For some people, it's their
Yes.
1 year saved salary,
Exactly.
1-2 month salary. Like so many occasions that you could be a part of.
And being a guy, like for me and the people I've grown up with, always seen, like whenever we were growing up and our birthday used to come, or a special occasion where someone is asking us what they want to gift us, it was primarily a shoe or a video game.
I'll tell you a story because CDC Experience gave this experience to someone I know very closely. So my photographer, he's obsessed with shoes. So is our DOP right now, Yash. So he is obsessed with Nikes and I think Jordans. So he signed up for you were having some sort of a promotion where you would give one shoe on MRP. Okay. So he ended up winning that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so he bought the shoes. I was like, so what did you do? Did you resell them? Because that was the first thing that I would think he would do. He's like, no, I took them to every shoot, got them down and dirty, greased them. I was like, what? And then he's like, I love them. They're a part of my life. And like it's just, that's exactly what you were saying, right? So it really becomes a part of you.
Yes, for someone, 100 sneakers are as precious as, the most precious thing they own. So for someone, there's one sneaker which could be the most precious thing they own.
You started just before COVID, and then everything, was like every industry was shaking. You created ripples.
It was a very different experience because as soon as COVID hit, obviously the first wave and the PM coming out and saying we have to, be in a lockdown and everything, and everybody experiencing the lockdown for the first time. It was a weird experience, and that time we were trying to figure out how we will survive.
Were you scared of the whole thing, or what did you make of this, by the way?
With the business front, I called my partners up and I said, bro, I think we're fucked. So Bharat and Shaurya, they said, they're like, don't worry. I'm like, no guys. The day COVID started, like when the lockdown started, and a couple of days after that, the Nike and Adidas website didn't stop dropping shoes. They were releasing. There were people buying these shoes, and because they were limited and there were more people who always wanted these shoes, the prices were going up. And being aggregators and being the service providers for the sellers and being the marketplace for the consumer, so many orders started coming in. I actually had to call a couple of people I knew personally who were ordering to ask, bro, why, where are you going to wear them? I saw a different perspective, which was also shown by Shaurya and Bharat, that it is an investable piece of art. Today, if you're getting a piece of Jordan, maybe back during the lockdown, so many pairs came out and they were priced at maybe 28, 30K, 32K back then as a consumer if you wanted to buy it. Whoever bought it back then, all those pairs are north of 45K right now.
No way.
Yeah, and I think that was the best time to invest. Thank God I don't take care of the sneaker division, and Shaurya is the guy who's taking care of it, and Bharat and the entire sneaker team strategy, that they picked up pairs at such good prices that take advantage of all the shortcomings, and that again gave us another perspective that in life whatever comes through, because there's nothing bigger than a lockdown and COVID and the world shutting down, right? We don't expect a bigger threat to come in our way, bigger than this. So if we could deal with that, we are a big team of hustlers now who don't mind sleepless nights till the time we get what we want.
That you can tell when you come to your store. It is such a beautiful experience, starting from the corner where you can just sit and chill. What is that machine about?
So that machine is called the heat locker. And have you, like back in the day at amusement park, have you seen those machines where you put in a coin and the claw goes and picks up a teddy bear?
Yes.
So this is a pretty much updated version of that,
Okay.
which would give the user a chance to win the desired pair of shoe or a lot of store credit for a minuscule of amount. So in realistic sense, the coin's for 500 rupees, and by putting in that coin and in that chance, if you win, you can win up to a shoe which is up for 40k.
Can I do that? Like,
Yeah,
now?
sure.
I'm going
You
to
can
do
try,
this
try,
after
try it out after the shoot, definitely.
Anchit, you have to be a genius at hospitality and giving people that experience. I'll tell you why. Because of that detail and experience of you making sure that a customer who's coming and having a meal at your restaurant leaves back with a really
With a smile on their face.
Yeah, a smile on their face and a long-lasting memory experience. You understand your customers is what I would say. You understand what kind of people are going to come
I
to
would
your
honestly
store.
accept that, because if someone would ask me what would be my key strength, is I understand the consumer. I spend a lot of time in researching and understanding the human behavior.
And you're
how one
not
would
just
react.
understanding us, you're trying to give us that experience that anyway a lot of brands take money from you, but they do not care. There's that two small details that you're giving.
Soft skills.
Yes, it's
come from the hospitality sector.
Of course. Who would have thought that someone in a hospitality business then would come and start his own bootstrap startup, which is now something to watch out for? Because of the number of opportunities that you've been giving to these new artists, I have to say you guys have a great sense of selection, and you have a great, very good eye.
Thank you.
And that is something incredible. You could go anywhere in the world, but if the best taste has been passed down to the consumer as options, I mean, you don't need a stylist.
No, we go we do a lot of groundwork before getting any brand on board. For us, it is not the store, just the store, it is also the website. We have 32 plus brands on our platform right now, and they're all homegrown brands, and they're all catering to the streetwear, athleisure, sneaker industry in some way or the other. And for the consumer, it becomes easier, right? Like, how would you shop? Like, you would like to go to a space where you can see a lot of options and pick the ones you like and pay for them all at once, and maybe get some goodies for it.
So the quality is so good. I mean,
they're not part of fast fashion. They're all homegrown brands who aim to give consumer the best quality and the best experience and the best fit one can get in that price point.
But I will be supporting them because I personally am a big fan of everything I saw today, and I couldn't believe that all this kind of material.
And guys, one thing I would like to tell everyone watching this is, she's not saying this because she's my friend. I can be very honest and blunt here, saying that people don't come and tell us that the clothes here are nice because they're our friends or we are on some show talking about it. This is the real shit. It is happening. I'm wearing it. She's wearing it. Everybody walking in wants a piece of it. They're walking out wearing it. And not much, but I think 6 months from now, you would see these brands becoming really, really popular and doing great numbers and making much more, than what they have right now.
So what I understand is that you guys aggregate fashion.
Yes.
But you have such a good selection. So how did you manage to do that? Because, instead of me looking everywhere, I will just look at your site and look at your collection.
That was a very organic process. It is how we
Is that you who picks everything?
No, I won't take the credit on my own. There are a lot of people involved. Yeah, but I sign off. I'm the last sign they need to come on board.
But I've seen you give your personal feedback to the artist also. I've seen you tell...
I get involved. That is why I'm the last person signing off any brand, is because anyone coming on my platform, I feel I'm responsible to translate their story to the customer. And
so you're mentoring them also?
Yes, why not?
Wow. I mean, it is so difficult to start a brand today and have a startup. I mean, it's a very difficult process. It's not something easy.
It is very difficult because any business we start today, as coming from the designer's perspective especially, It has design, it has production, it has so much selection in play. It has so much paperwork related to, you know, the operation part, the financial part. To pull this off just by a designer is a really, really tough task. The designer needs to be good in business also. That is why you see these designers being acquired by big business houses now, because how the designer has the expertise to create something beautiful and out of the box. The business guys here, you know, so many different ways to sell your product and out of the box ideas to make sure the consumer keeps loving your brand.
This is something that I would, you know, recommend every foreigner who comes to India and wants to take back.
Oh, a great point you've brought up, like with foreigners. We are taking CDC internationally.
No way!
Yeah.
Congratulations!
Thank you. And with that, we primarily, our streetwear segment is a big, you know, plus for the international market, because in the international market, you can't really get a designer product for less than a $500 mark.
Bro, you're such a cool boss to have around.
I think my team would disagree. I think I would be the wildest boss anybody can have. I wouldn't like to be my own boss also, like if I would have the opportunity. I am improving every day. I learn from the team.
Tell me a funny story about hiring that you've had.
Funniest story we've had inside our office is about a person I won't name. If he's seeing this, he would know this. Last year, every now and then we keep putting up these sale activations for our audience, wherein they can get their hands on their desired pairs at a steal or a dirt cheap price, right? So we did this. We were celebrating Michael Jordan's birthday, and the idea of that sale activation was to give 23 pairs of different Jordans at a steal price. So as a customer, you would find 23 different designs of Jordans on our website at a steal deal on his birthday. And just for fun, we always used to start our sale activations at 12 midnight. That the guy who handled the website for us had to activate the sale at 12. I called him at 11:30 and I said, bro, you be ready? He's like, yeah, we're ready. Cool. Like, no worry. I'm like, oh, don't, it's fine. Perfect. 12 o'clock, there's no update. Nothing's happening. There's nothing happening. Instagram team has updated that the sale is live, but the sale is not live. And holy shit, and I'm calling this guy and he's not answering. Everybody in the team is calling him and he's not answering. I'm like, shit, is he dead? Like, I spoke to him at 11:30. What the fuck happened? And then shit, dude, we couldn't find him. And then suddenly he calls us at 12:30 maybe. And then he activates the sale and then the sale is live. And between 12 and 12:30, we are getting messages, bombed by messages from the consumers that you guys said there's going to be a sale and there's nothing we can see, and where is the sale, and send us the link, and all that is happening. And we have no fucking idea where this guy is. And this guy comes up and he activates the sale, and okay, we all sleep that night, nothing. Next day morning, I call him and I was like, bro, what happened? He said, I'm sorry. But what happened? I know you're sorry, you feel bad, but I, for my own satisfaction and knowledge, want to know what happened. There was a wedding happening, his neighbor was getting married, and there was some function happening at his neighbor's house. And this guy loves dal makhani and naan. And they were, obviously, there was great food at the wedding, and he's like, who could miss such good food? So he tried some new technique where he could automate the activation, and he left it on that and he went, leaving his phone at home just to grab a bite, and he came back. So till date, every time we see a plate of dal makhani or butter chicken or naan, we just
think of him.
No, not think of him. Just tell him on his face, hey, dal makhani, come here. But it was a fun experience. And since that day, we've all learned that how to have backup plans and how to make sure that there are other switches we can press if shit goes down.
I'm going to come and just hang in your store, just like that, like every week, just to see if I like anything.
So that is what...
It's such a good vibe here, and I envy your work culture here. It's so damn cool. Tell me about the events that you guys have. What all do you do? What is the life of this?
For us, when we were envisioning CDC Experience, it had to be experiential, and not just in terms of the shopping experience, but much more than that. So as you see when you enter, you've got a basketball court. That's not only for people to play basketball and spend good time there. You can also win 5,000 rupees of store credit by just walking in and letting us know that you want to play ball. There are ways you can win. There's an activation out there called money shots. You have to hoop in 3 shots back to back, and if you do that, you get 5,000 rupees of store credit, and anybody can come and try that.
Listen, you're going to have a queue here tomorrow because I personally know a lot of people who are going to get 3 shots.
I want as many people to come and try it out because that's what we've opened the space for.
I don't think we can finish our conversation in one day. We have to keep doing this podcast every few months and check on you. Keep in touch with all the fun stuff that you have planned.
Every month you'll see a couple of brands coming on board. Click on the icon where you get to know the latest updates on Instagram. Keep following us on both our Insta pages. Keep checking out the website. Do sign up because we really make sure that we send out emails for everything we're doing.
So if you have any advice for the listeners who are getting inspired by your story and they would like to do something similar or on the same lines, what would you have to say to them?
Anybody can do anything, and if you guys want to do a streetwear brand, research, you need to have a sense of clarity of where you're headed, what you want to do, and if you think you have got that right, then just go for it and put in all you have.
How do you handle failure? Because
Learn. Failure, you need to really put your failure on the whiteboard and pick out the points that what happened. I think the biggest learning in life is failures. I have learned the maximum in my life from my failures than from what I've achieved.
Thank you so much. You have been awesome and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. And come, let's have a cup of coffee.
Let's do it.
Yeah, you can raise the stakes, it don't matter cause I'm all in. Focus man, guaranteed to blow cause I'm all in. Know the plan from top to bottom, but they tryna call my bluff. Winning every award, it's going down, royal flush. You gotta see it in your mind if you wanna be it. Crushing the competition, cause I truly believe it. From continent to continent, I'm about my numbers man. Give me all the chips, cause I always got the upper hand.